Okay, welcome to the Quote Incorporation and Use audio lecture. You'll find this under the heading for the course introduction of our modules, but feel free to circle back to this for when you start your research paper. Okay, so you need to ask yourself a few questions before you decide to use a quote. So, will the quote fit into your argument? Does it fit in where you're planning to include it? And is it merely descriptive? Okay, because quoting for the sake of quoting does happen in academic writing, it happens in student writing, but you should be more cautious. Don't quote just because you know you have to quote and do source synthesis, etc. Do it because it's actually important to what you're saying, and that maybe even, wow, the way that that author said it, I couldn't say it any better. I have to use that. Okay. Why are you quoting? Well, to prove that your ideas are correct, to illustrate your point of view more clearly, and also to demonstrate how you've arrived at an original idea of your own. Okay, because you shouldn't just be simply restating what others have said. Okay, stating what others have said can help to create the belief that your ideas are correct. Well, it's not really belief, I mean, because you can only go so far in 8 to 10 pages. So kind of like the start of your ideas, coming to fruition. Okay, so you need to be mindful of that. Also, kind of like think about it like majority rules type situation. Okay, the more people believe something, the kind of more true we like to think that it is. So, especially as a student, you don't carry a great deal of authority, especially like if you're dealing with a super intense topic. Okay, you want to kind of add authority, and kind of like in a really juvenile way. This is the only way I can think to articulate this is like, see, I said this, and others who are, published in this too, they believe it as well. That's kind of where you're going for it some of the time. Not all the time, but some of the time. Effective quoting will add authority, add evidence, and add a more sophisticated tone. Okay, so it'll help to elevate it both in terms of you as a researcher and the actual content that you are creating. Okay. Quote use in paragraph structure. Don't use quotes in your introduction. Okay. Your introduction and conclusion, that should be you. You need to start the paper and end the paper with your voice because also quotes merit explanation and discussion. Okay, see the summary and analysis PowerPoint for information on that. Okay. Also, body paragraphs should begin with topic sentences. Do not start any paragraph with a quote, okay? Because it should start with your words. Every paragraph that you create should start and end with you. Because again, quotes merit an introduction and discussion, okay? A topic sentence is straightforward. It's really just, explains what you're going to be talking about in the paragraph, okay? Think about it like a mini thesis statement, okay? Also, consider using a quote that provides or illustrates what you have claimed in the topic sentence if you want to use a quote super early on in the paragraph. After quote, show how it supports your idea, meaning explain yourself. Something as simple as this quote demonstrates is a very effective way for helping your reader understand what the quote is doing. Okay, it should not be making the point for you, but it should be contributing to the point you are making. Okay, they should only support your argument and not be the argument itself. Meaning, again, don't just regurgitate what others have said, have your idea and then find the stuff to support it. Okay, a quote should never appear in a sentence by itself because there is no context for the quote. See the audio lecture on quote incorporation and use and that sample color-coded Word document that I posted, okay? Context includes things like the author's name, the title of the piece, and or signal phrases, okay? There's a list of signal phrases later on in this PowerPoint, okay? Because there's no warning or context, and that makes the readers confused. You need to set the scene for them, okay? You don't go into a movie and it doesn't just automatically start. There's trailers and that weird video where it's like, hey, go get popcorn, and oh, look, we're on a date, so we're going to share Coke, stuff like that, okay? That's what you need to be doing. Using signal phrases can help integrate the quotes into a sentence, help make the quotes into complete sentences because sometimes you're not using a full sentence, sometimes you're only using a phrase, okay? Also, if you're writing an incomplete sentence, you need to be mindful. Start it out with something, author's name, title, things of that effect, okay? Common signal phrases, there's a whole list here. Okay, these can be good for comparison contrast, cause and effect, chain of reasoning, all sorts of things. Any one of these could work. I mean, there's many more than this. This is just a starting point, guys. Okay, maybe, sometimes when you're writing, push this up and, click through and see, you know, use one of them. And then maybe the next time use another one. You don't really want to repeat yourself. You want to try to vary your wordage too. So don't use the same one over and over again, okay? That's why there's quite a list here, okay? Explain what the author is arguing through the quote. Okay, so does the author agree with your point of view? If not, maybe you're creating a counterargument paragraph instead. Okay, establish credibility by explaining what they're saying. It just makes you more of an expert. Okay, also try to be mindful when you're choosing the words and maybe making alterations to the text to not change the message, okay? You want the message to remain the same, okay? But sometimes, yeah, you have to change the verb tense or add an ellipsis because the quote's too long or something like that. But just be very careful with what you're omitting and changing. Okay, so state the implications of the quote with regards to your argument. What did you make of the author's argument? Did you agree, disagree? Were you indifferent? Did it maybe change one aspect of your argument? Okay, also, transition signals. Comparison contrast is very important, okay? How does it act in relationship to other things? Okay, the transition signals also can help improve the coherency of paragraphs, meaning it comes together as one unified thought as opposed to just a bunch of sentences that happen to be really close together, okay? It also can help the readers grasp the logic of the argument. Here's some other phrases that can be used as signal phrases. So they represent contrast, difference, and contradiction. So depending on what you're trying to articulate, you would use one of these specific terms. Okay, again, there's way more than this, but this is just a starting point. Okay, these terms here indicate similarity. So when you're trying to equate things, these are the types of words you want to use. Okay, so apples to apples as opposed to apples to oranges. All right, that's the end of this lecture.